Hey, Coach. Charlie Burris, Orange White Report in Knoxville. Past John Kelly, what's the running back situation looking like?
Well, again, it starts with John Kelly, and then that's going to be a position group that we're going to be forced to play some younger football players. And Carlin Filzami had a very good spring. He's had a very good offseason. He's going to be critical to that group. And then we're going to have to rely on 3 very talented freshmen as well. And the great thing about that group is John is kind of pushed them and molded them, but also the younger players are pushing John and Carlin as well, but it's going to be a group that we're going to be very, very young there.
Actually, up here in the front left side.
Hey, Coach. Brandon Sudge with the Macon Telegraph. So I sort of had a two-part question on Micah Abernathy. Can you kind of take me through how his rehab has gone with his shoulder, and what type of production are you expecting from him coming into his junior year?
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Micah Abernathy's coming along very, very well, and he's full strength right now, and he's one of the leaders of our football team, and you know that's a great, great story when you look at the dynamics of his family, in the Abernathy family, and his older brother played for us at Cincinnati, and very fitting that he won the Liberty Bowl with a kickoff return, and but his family's a great, great family, and he's a great indication of that. But he's one of our leaders. He's back at full strength, and the safety position in general is one of the most competitive position groups that we have. When you look at getting Evan Berry back, which is a big boost to us as well. Todd Kelly's now back healthy and has done a great job of really in the strength and conditioning area. And then you just mentioned Micah Abernathy. You look at Nigel Warrior. He's had a very good offseason and some very talented freshmen coming in as well. So that's a position group that we're going to lean on a lot.
Right side, third row.
Jim Johnson, Southern Pigskin. What, in your estimation, are fair and reasonable expectations for fans and media to have on your team?
Good question. Well, I know this is one of the great things of coaching at the University of Tennessee are the expectations are very high, and they're always very high. And I think as a competitor, you want to be in situations where the expectations are very high, and it matters to a lot of people. I'm very proud of how far we've come in 4 years in our program, and you know, it's very, very difficult to win. It's very, very difficult to win in the Southeastern Conference. You know, I'm proud of the fact that we're only one of 3 teams that have won 9 games 2 years in a row in the Southeastern Conference. We just won our 3rd consecutive bowl game, and hasn't been done in 20 years at the University of Tennessee. But there's still a lot out there. There's still a lot that we need to accomplish. There's still a lot out there of you know, being competitive in terms of, you know, championships. And, you know, that's what we talk about all the time, is we want to compete for championships year in and year out. So we've come a long way, but there's a lot. But obviously when you're at Tennessee, the expectations are very, very high. But I think if you step back and you really look at the narrative, there's a lot of great things and a lot of positive momentum that continues to really progress in our football program.
Left side in the back.
Yeah, Butch. David Cobb from the Chattanooga Times Free Press. With John Curry placing an early emphasis on fan experience and looking ahead to Neyland Stadium renovations, is there anything in particular that you would like to see to enhance the experience for football fans there?
You know, I just think you use the term experience, and that's exactly right, because, you know, obviously we have the best traditions in all of college football. We have great pageantry in Neyland Stadium, and it starts first and foremost with the best fan base in America. However, you know, again, it gets back to an experience, and, you know, the fans in today's world of college athletics and the world of college football, they have a lot of options. You know, they can sit at a sports bar, they can sit sit in their living room and they can choose. So when they come to our venue, it's got to be an experience. And I know that's something that, we've spoke about and we'll continue to grow and evaluate. But I tell you what, we've had a great home field advantage in terms of our crowd and all that. So again, the thing you can't put a price tag on is the pageantry and traditions that surround game day at Tennessee.
On the right side, last row.
John Wilkerson, Sports
John.
Radio, WNML Knoxville. Coach, you made a lot of changes to your staff. What have the meeting rooms have been like with this new blood, and how different is it to not have Don Mahoney on your staff first time as a head coach?
Yeah, well, first of all, the changes have been very, very healthy, and I think it's elevated the excitement level. It's also, as players, I think it's really accelerated the competitive aspect of things, because it's like I told our players, a lot of these individuals had new coaches, is you're responsible for what you create with your identity and your football identity. And I think when you add the individuals of the caliber that we have, a lot of them have been former head coaches. You look at a Brady Hoke, he's been a conference coach of the year in 3 different leagues. Been a great resource for me, a great resource to our players, a great resource to Bob Shoup. You bring in a Charlton Warren who served 10 years in the United States military in the Air Force. So he brings a complete different dynamic and perspective, and he's a really good football coach. And then Kevin Beard coaching our wideouts. He's going to put the cleats on and run routes with the kids, and he's interacting like that all the time. And then Mike Canales, I think, is the best developer of quarterbacks. I've felt that way for 20 years and have known him for a long time. And then obviously Larry Scott brings a whole nother dynamic to the offensive coordinator position. And then Walt Wells is an individual who has had numerous opportunities to coach in a number of places. He understands the state of Tennessee. He's embedded in the state of Tennessee, and he's an individual that I was able to watch in our football program. And, that's the unfortunate things in coaching, is you develop and you build relationships with families. And it's incredibly hard on the families, and it's incredibly hard on myself and my wife. And, Don Mahoney's one of those individuals that has been with us a long time. I love him, I love his wife, and I love his kids. And that's the unfortunate part of this business, but sometimes you have to sit back, and I'm the caretaker of Tennessee football, and you have to run an organization and do what you feel is necessary.
Left side here, second row.
Butch, you mentioned the enthusiasm and the expectations. Is it easy to ignore some of the criticism that can come your way, especially with social media being the way it is?
Yeah, I don't ever, concern myself with that. Is, again, we have a plan, we're following the plan, and that's kind of the world that we live in. And so again, if you find yourself even spending 1 second of your time worried about that or investing in that, that's taking away from all your other priorities that you have to do.
I think we have just about time for one last question. In the middle on the camera.
Hi, Coach. Molly Walsh with the Tuscaloosa News. We're working on a project called Should Your Kid Play High School Football? We want to know your take on it and why or why not.
Well, I'm living proof of it. I have a son who'll be a junior at Knoxville Catholic. He plays football, and one of the great things I did this summer is I had an opportunity to go be a dad and took him around the different football camps and just kind of sit up in the stands and not be a coach and be dad. And so I'm living proof of it. I want my sons, I encourage them to play football. I think football is one of the great life lessons, and we always talk to our players, football's life just sped up a lot faster. I think they've done a great job. I speak from a parent now of really impacting the safety of the game. So again, I'm obviously a big proponent, and I live it with my son.